Hey everyone, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about what business you should start. And in particular, I'm going to be comparing Amazon FBA businesses with software subscription as a service business. These are two businesses that I currently own. As you guys know, I started in the Amazon FBA space and now I'm in the software space with ReferralHero. This video is kind of a personal reflection a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of compare the differences between them, share with you my experiences of starting, launching, and scaling both of these business models. If you guys don't know, my name's Lamar, and I'm here helping you guys start and scale your online business. Please make sure to click this subscribe link below so you don't miss any videos that I'm coming out with. The first thing that I want to look at is the business model. With Amazon FBA, the business model mainly revolves around one-off purchases. If you do create a product that has some sort of a reoccurring revenue, such as like a consumable, you would be probably fairly lucky. I think that there's a lot more products that are being launched on Amazon that tend to be kind of a one-off purchase. So that would be the business model for Amazon FBA. With a subscription or a SaaS-based product, subscription model is going to be your business model, right? You're going to sell the customer once and likely they're going to be paying you month over month for the subscription of the product. Now, obviously, you could build a software product that is kind of a one-time purchase. I probably wouldn't recommend that model, and I think that we see many more softwares being sold as a subscription, and that trend kind of continues to drive in that direction, right? You're even starting to see the auto industry start to offer subscription-based like pricing models with, like the seat warmers and different unlocking mechanisms. So you're starting to see the subscription-based model bleed into other industries, but it's especially apparent in the software space. Next, let's talk about the sales channel. If you're running Amazon FBA business, you will primarily be reliant on Amazon as the marketplace, right? You'll be listing your product on Amazon and getting the majority of your customers from Amazon. If you're lucky and you're able to break away from Amazon, right? Set up your own website, whether it be a Shopify website or a WordPress website, you'd be probably pretty happy if you're able to get 20% of your sales on your own website, especially if you were kind of an Amazon first business. Compare that to software SaaS based. You could launch your product on a Shopify as a Shopify app, or you could be independent. There are marketplaces that you can launch and that are available to you for your software product. However, it's probably likely that your product will be more independent than being reliant on a single app or marketplace. In either case, a marketplace does get you to market faster and gives you immediate access to customers. However, the con is that then you are reliant on that marketplace. So just keep that in mind. Both business models could be launched on a marketplace. Both have their pros and cons to it. Now let's talk about idea generation. When it comes to generating new product ideas on Amazon, of course, you can use your own personal experience. It's very likely that you're going to be using tools such as like Jungle Scout to analyze sales trends. You'll be reviewing reviews. You'll be looking at competition. The idea generation and finding your next product idea on Amazon is pretty straightforward and can be easily validated with software, giving you exact trends in sales. You'll know exactly how much a particular product is selling with using various softwares that are out there. So coming up with your product idea for Amazon is very straightforward, and there's a lot of tools out there that make it easy for you to come up with the idea. While the idea generation process for a SaaS-based company, there is some overlap there, right? You could go off of your personal experience, you could read reviews, you could look at competitors, you could be active in forums. There just isn't as much data available to guide you on pinpointing what's selling. The revenue data that is provided by Jungle Scout or Helium 10, for example, there just isn't that same type of visibility into knowing what software apps are selling and at what quantities or how much revenue that they're doing. Unless you happen to catch like an interview with a founder, they're quoted on Google in some way about like how many users or how much revenue that you're doing. It's much harder to know just how much revenue a software-based program is doing to validate you breaking into that industry or pivoting in a slight way and kind of going off for like a segment of the market. Now let's talk about customers. When it comes to Amazon FBA, most of your customers are going to be B2C. When it comes to software, it could be either. It could be B2B or it could be B2C. Personally, my business is B2B. But there are tons of apps and other software out there that kind of cater direct to a consumer. So it could kind of be either or when it comes to software. Just something to consider about who you're marketing to and who you want your kind of end customer to be. Product development. With Amazon, launching a product on Amazon, it's very likely that you can create the product. It's much easier to wrap your head around the full process of how a product would be created, right? If you come up with an idea, maybe you find an example locally, you can send it over to China and have them do like a slight variation, or you could have them alter a product in some way. They're able to copy the product extremely well. But the process of creating a product, right, whether from the initial product idea to coming up with a product prototype, to sending it over to China, to getting it manufactured, to shipping it over to the US, and then selling it on Amazon, you can kind of wrap your head around the full process of how that would work, because we tend to be very familiar with physical products. You can easily understand and kind of conceptualize how they're made and how they move through the logistical process and how you could sell it online. When it comes to software, especially if you don't have a development background, you're not a programmer, it's a little bit harder to understand just how to develop the product itself. There are a lot of great developers out there that you can hire, or you can go a no-code approach, right? And like build an MVP or a first version of your product, not using a developer at all. There are a lot of great tools out there. It just seems, at least to me, it just seemed like a little bit harder to conceptualize just how you go about launching, building, scaling an actual software product when compared to a physical product. The other very interesting note about product development with a physical product, right? Let's say that you do launch it on Amazon and you're getting all this product feedback, whether it be good product feedback or negative product feedback. Let's say that your customer comes up with some improvements for your product. You can take those improvements, give them to your factory. You can make changes to the actual physical product itself. However, that customer product feedback loop takes an extremely long period of time. You could be looking at 6 to 9 months before that product improvement or that suggestion actually gets implemented into your product. When you compare that to the software space, when a customer gives you product feedback or some change that you might need to make to your app, you can almost immediately deploy that change, especially if you have a developer on your team or it's an easy tweak. Maybe it's just changing like the text or the help guide. Some of these like product changes are very easy and can be deployed within like minutes, hours, or days. So that feedback loop to implementation process is much faster when it comes to software. Now let's talk about launching your product. When it comes to Amazon FBA, I tend to think that it's a little bit easier, right? There's pretty much a blueprint for launching products on Amazon, right? You're doing your giveaways, your PPC, your discounting. It's fairly straightforward to get traction, and you know that that market is validated because you've done your research and you're launching into an established market. When it comes to a SaaS-based product, while some of those tools do exist, you're likely going to have to build a pre-launch list or build like a small community around the project. And then once you have that kind of small community established, you'll likely do your more traditional launch tactics such as giveaways, discounts, posting on forums, running a referral program, etc. Competition. As easy as it is for you to start an Amazon FBA business and launch a product on Amazon, it's just as easy for other competitors to do the same. As there's more awareness around Amazon FBA, there's just a flood of additional competition that's pouring onto the marketplace. Now, while there's still lots of competition in the software space, the barrier to entry is much harder. And even if you're launching on a Shopify app store, there's still a barrier there that is much harder when compared to launching on Amazon. Regardless of the business, competition is going to be present in any market for any product. And in fact, if there is competition there, that should only be validation that a market exists. So in either case, you're going to have competition. It's better not to be reliant on a marketplace just because that could introduce higher levels of competition. That being said, a marketplace does give you instant access to customers. Scaling. When it comes to Amazon FBA, the more you sell, the more you're going to need to reorder and the more cash that you're going to have to infuse into your business. An inventory business, Amazon FBA, is extremely cash intensive. You're going to have to be ordering a lot of product, not only on the reorders, but also every time that you want to expand into new product categories, you're going to have to deploy new cash in ordering that new product and launching that new product. When it comes to software, you don't really have this problem, not nearly as much at least. You're going to build your product once and you'll be able to sell it an infinite number of times. Of course, you're going to be reinvesting in product improvements. However, once that core product is built, you really just need to sell more of it. Expenses. When it comes to Amazon FBA, there's many more expenses involved with operating the business. You'll have your R&D cost, you'll have your manufacturing cost, you'll have your shipping cost, you'll have warehousing costs, you'll have Amazon fees, you'll have your Amazon PPC costs, then you'll have any overhead costs. There's a lot of costs, moving pieces, variable costs involved with running and operating an Amazon FBA business. When it comes to software, your costs are much more straightforward. Really, the main costs that you have besides development cost is your hosting cost and any processing fees. Of course, if you're running PPC, that'll also be a cost. And if you have any overhead costs with development costs, like I just mentioned, or marketing costs, those will be added on there. However, the core costs of just like running the operational level of your business aren't nearly as many. Driving growth for your business. When it comes to Amazon FBA, driving growth for the business will be through launching more products. You're going to be supplementing your current product line. You're going to be looking into other product lines. You're going to be expanding into new product lines. When it comes to a software product, you're mainly just going to be focused on selling more of what you have. Now, of course, you'll be adding on features and you'll be doing tweaks to the software product itself. But as long as you have validated your core product, then you're pretty much just going to be doubling down and figuring out how to get more customers to purchase your core product. So those are kind of the main differences between the two business models that I've been experiencing. If you're asking yourself, which business model is right for you, which business should I start? I would leave you with 2 points. The first one is I'd first look at what current skills you currently have and which business you're able to apply those skills to. The second point is long term, what industry do you want to be involved with? Part of being a great entrepreneur is the ability to adapt and pivot. When I started my business, I started out in the Amazon FBA space, and now I'm completely into software. While I have both of these businesses, I made a pivot in kind of my strategy. And you can kind of make any pivot that you want, but it is a little bit easier if you start with the end in mind. So if you're able to think long term about what industry you do want to be in, like long term, then maybe that's the best choice for you. So I'll leave this video with those two thoughts. I hope you got value out of today's video. Please remember to click the like button and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Peace.